So this Illuvium Zero patch just came out, and it has at least the Illuvium Zero Discord chat in an uproar. Landowners just had their fuel production supply cut by 75%. And I do think landowners have a right to be a little upset with this. But in this video, I'm going to explain a little bit more about how landowners generate a return and how this update with the supply chain may not be quite as bad as everyone thinks it is. But before we get into the numbers, a couple quick things I want to go through. First off, I submitted a proposal to the governance channel. It's basically an update to the Alliance program, because right now in-app purchases are not calculated into the rewards for the Alliance program, which means there's really no incentive at all for any content creators to make Illuvium Zero content. Because even if you out there are using my code right now, which is Nijafe, Nijafe, if you're making in-app purchases for Illuvium Zero, that doesn't benefit me at all. But not only me, that doesn't benefit anybody in the community from making Illuvium Zero content. So making overworld content just makes more sense to them right now. This proposal basically just says, let's include those in-game purchases for rewards, which gives creators like me and any bigger creators that come along more of an incentive to make Illuvium Zero content. So if you're a landowner, this benefits you, and I would really appreciate if you go in there, give it a thumbs up. As you can see right now, there's 15 right now. We only need 25 to bring it to a vote. Next order of business. So in my opinion, this patch that cut the production by 75%, it's not the actual cut in production that's the big issue. The big issue lies with the abrupt nature of this cut. How it just happened all of a sudden. No one was warned. No one really predicted it. Oh wait, someone might have predicted it. So this is a proposal that I tried to put through over a year ago, last edited in August 2023. Highlighted a couple things here. Introduce price stabilization, an innovative approach adjusting production based on demand, a predicted and decentralized approach to adjusting fuel production based on demand, supply adjustments, productions of each fuel type is adjusted in direct correlation to the change in demand, and my favorite line here, a community-friendly approach, unlike centralized entities which face community pushback when abruptly changing supply, our decentralized and market-driven methods ensure a more acceptable adjustment process. So this is something I tried to put through that I think would have maybe not prevented all the issues, and I'll get into that in a second, but I knew that something like this would happen, and I was trying my best to prevent it. But anyways, that got shot down, never got through. Let's get back to what we're dealing with today. Okay, so let's make up some numbers on how this economy works with, RevDis and the revenue that Illuvium Land is able to get. So everyone, I still see it, keeps talking about the 19-to-1 idea with fuel. So the DAO produces 19 units of fuel to every one a landowner produces. Now I see the question, why does it have to be 19-to-1? Why can't it be 1-to-1? Well, this 19 is RevDis. That's the revenue that people are getting from staking their ILV. So 19-to-1 is something that has to stay there. We just recently got some RevDis from our staked ILV. If this was a 1-to-1 deal, RevDis wouldn't exist. So it needs to exist. All right, so let's come up with some numbers here. So let's say on any, given day, overworld players are spending $1,000. So where that goes is 950 of those dollars goes to RevDis. 50 of those dollars goes to land. Let's say you're a whale in the space and you supply 1% of the fuel to the market. So that means you're getting 1% of this $50. So you're making, say, 50 cents that day. Simply put, that's how it works. Now think about this for a second. I didn't mention the fuel price at all. Fuel price really doesn't play a factor here. Because in this scenario, landowners are pulling from this same $50, and even if fuel production is cut by 75%, which it was this morning, if you were able to supply 1% of the fuel yesterday, you're able to supply 1% of the fuel today. And I know it doesn't work exactly like that because people who have stuff in storage or building new things, but think about it even on a weekly basis. If you were supplying 1% of the fuel last week, there's a good chance you can provide 1% of the fuel next week. So your return isn't really affected by this. It might be in the very short term, but otherwise it's not really. In theory, if the supply doesn't change from here, if you're making 75% less fuel, then the price of the fuel should 4x. And now I know what you're saying right away. There's no way the price of the fuel is going to 4x. And that's true, but the reason why it's not going to 4x is a problem that existed regardless of this change, which is that more and more land are able to sell fuel because they have the excess fuel. Those tier 2s and tier 1s are starting to get to that point where they have excess fuel to sell to the market. So more fuel is coming onto the market daily. And I think that's what the team saw. The fuel price was trending down every single day and more fuel was hitting the market every single day. So we were on an unsustainable path to where fuel would end up close to zero. And this is an issue regardless of this change. This is kind of just one of those temporary fixes to supply, but the real issue is with demand. And if we really want our fuel from our land to carry more value, what we need to do is take this number right here and increase it. So maybe instead of $1,000 today, or obviously it's more than $1,000, but in this example, the only way to increase that number is to increase the demand here. So maybe the demand is 2,000 and then you're pulling from 100, and then you with your 1% supply gets $1 instead of 50. Now I've been in the Discord chats all day, mostly just observing, but one argument I see is that, oh, well, if I wanted to send my own fuel to my overworld account, which should be coming at some point, now I need to make 4 times as much fuel to go on that overworld run. And I do see that as an issue temporarily, but then again, that's not even something you can do right now, because over time that does even out, in the sense that, like, yeah, maybe you need to produce 4 times the fuel to go on that same run, but in theory, if the demand doesn't change, the value of that price is going to go up to balance it all out. So yeah, maybe you need to produce more to go on that run, but the overworld players might have to pay more to go on that run. So I guess the big thing that I would say to everybody is don't freak out. Don't go and, patronize the team for making these adjustments. There could have been a better way to do it. Like I said, a proposal I had a year ago, which would have made the production adjustments automated based on the price of fuel. Something like that could have been better. The way that it just happened out of nowhere, I think is a problem, to be honest with you. So I can understand if you're upset about that. But the fact that it's actually cut your production, don't worry too much about that. It balances itself out in the end. And yeah, in a couple weeks, you might see that the price is around the same number and you're making less. But if this production hadn't been cut at all, the price would have probably plummeted even more, because again, more fuel is entering the market every day. More landowners are selling to the market. I really hope this clears up a little bit, and I hope it makes sense. I feel like I'm going to get a lot of comments on this down below. Feel free. I'll try to answer as many as I can. I know I get behind on some of them sometimes, but this seems to be like a big issue going on in the community right now, and I kind of just wanted to, ease everyone's minds that we're going to be okay. As long as you believe in Illuvium long term, we're going to be okay. If you're one of those people who, thinks we're doomed and Illuvium is going to fail anyways, well, then I don't know what to tell you. But if you're a believer in Illuvium and bullish like me over the long term, then there's really nothing to worry about. Thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe, comment, use my creator code, all that good stuff. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and I'll catch you in the next video.